When an eagle soars, they are expending zero energy because they have the ability to understand currents and thermal updrafts. And when an eagle soars, it just goes, hey, let's spend lunch. That's all an eagle does when it soars. Just hangs out, looks around. Soaring requires zero energy. So God says when you walk, and that's all the strength you have is just left foot, right foot, left foot, I'll be there because I created you to move. God says when you have more energy and you can actually start running, I'll be there because I created you to move. God says on the days when it all comes together and you just have to go, I'll be there because I created you to move. Jeremiah. And I say this verse a lot. I say it a lot because I work with teenagers. And there is generations that don't know the truth of Jeremiah. And yes, I understand Jeremiah. This was written to the prophet. This was spoken directly of him. But I can't fathom God saying, oh, okay, I like Jeremiah. I like Jeremiah better than Noah. I like Jeremiah better than Pat. I like Jeremiah better than Doug. I like Jeremiah better than the Colts or the Saints. So I tell teenagers, God speaks this over you. Before I shaped you in the womb, I knew you. Before you saw the light of day, I had plans for you. God says before you were even born, I set you up to move. There are things that your hands should be doing. There are places your feet should go. God says, I have movement for you. God says, before you even took a breath, I had movement. Next. Then God, who made the world and everything in it, this master of sky and land, doesn't live in custom-made shrines or need the human race to run errands for him as if he couldn't take care of himself. He makes the creatures. The creatures don't make him. Starting from scratch, he made the entire human race and made the earth hospitable with plenty of time and space for living. So we could seek after God and not just grope around in the dark, but actually find him. He doesn't play hide and seek with us. He's not remote, he's near. You were created to move. And don't take my word for it. Acts says we live and move in him. Can't get away from him. One of the poets said, we're the God created. In him we live and move and have our being. So Pastor Doug, what's the point of all of this? This is nice. I hadn't planned on doing this because I forgot it was the first of the month. So for the ushers will come and get ready for communion. We live and move in him. Can't get away from him. We live and move in him. You can't get away from him. You live and move in him and you can't get away. Just hold the elements. if you would indulge me once you have the juice and the cracker, the bread. If you promise not to fall asleep on me, if you'll just close your eyes for a moment. With your eyes shut, I referenced the fact that in the garden, we were created to walk and talk with the Lord. And it wasn't a walking and talking like we reference now. Adam and Eve enjoyed the literal presence of God. That's how God did it. That's how God created it. When he spoke the universe into existence, he had the garden in mind. But because of a choice, because of selfishness, it changed everything, and God said, I can't do this right now. And he closed the garden forever. And by our timeline, it wasn't until 2,000 years later that all of that changed. Because Jesus said, you know what? It's time for things to be different. It's time to be as they were created to be. So I'm leaving heaven. I'm coming down to earth, and I'm going to fulfill what the law requires, so that once again, God, you may walk and talk with your people. They may truly be able to live and move and have their being in you. You designed humanity to move. You designed humanity to rule over the earth, to change the earth, to govern it. And it's time for them to be able to do that again. And so Jesus, when he knew what was coming, gathered those closest to them and said, I'm getting ready, and this is my paraphrase, I'm getting ready to set you up so you can move in such a way to change the world forever. I'm getting ready to set you up to let you change the nations and the countries around you. And he took some bread, symbolic of the cracker you hold in your hand, and said, this is my body, which is about to be broken and beaten and destroyed, so you can move, so you can have freedom, so you can have liberty. He said, every time you take this, remember that I came. Remember that I came to bring you life and life.